Okay, so after you finish week 9 code along, then the technical interview signups will begin, or you'll have the ability to sign up. So let me just walk through this. I've been talking about it in week 7. I posted about it, so now I'm actually going to talk through the post so that if you have any additional questions, it is a great time to ask. So the interview will be conducted in CodeSpace, and then I will add you it to the CodeSpace at the beginning of the interview. No AI assistance is used, and extensions are disabled. For this course, the course grade this accounts for 25% of your overall course grade. I mentioned in week 7 that you have two ways you can do it. You can do a walkthrough or you can do a code challenge itself. And so the walkthrough would be that you actually will come in and set breakpoints, use dev tools to walk through and answer questions I ask you of the code to see, and it's really seeing how well you understand the code that's been written in the course. That's worth 75 max. And then code challenge is actually where I take your decision-making app and I actually give you a code challenge, or maybe outside of that. And in this case, that's when you submit, you'll tell me which you're going to do. And that will be a part of what you and I will have a conversation with, because this assignment item is really for you to give me the dates, which I'll talk about next, but also tell me what kind of interview you're going to do. If you do, and I recommend doing these early, but if you do a walkthrough one and you decide you want to try this one later, you can attempt it. Just remember the timeline that I'm about to go over. So you can sign up anytime, like I said, after week 9. And the interviews begin here. Now I have provided the schedule here. So they start on the March 26th, right before spring break. I'll do a couple here, and then of course none through spring break, and then after as well. Now, if I scroll down, and this is what I had talked about, is it after May 1, after that last Friday, then you can only do one. Okay, so if you're waiting until this point to sign up, you can only sign up for one during this time frame because just of the number of students that have to come through. Okay. You have 2 attempts, right, at the technical interview, and that's what I just talked about. Here, I already talked about the schedule. So what you're going to do here is you're going to submit this item, and you're going to tell me 2 preferred days and times, right? If my office hours, and I want to be clear about this, don't work for you, I'm really willing to work with you the best I can to accommodate your and my schedule. And the more heads up you give me, the more likely I can do that. Okay, so in here you're going to give me, of course, my preference would be to start with these dates, but if those don't work, give me what does work, and I'll talk to you and we'll converse back and forth. But if these work for you, then tell me, I want Monday. Now what'll happen here is you can't update this sheet. What you're going to do is tell me your preferred and give me 2 dates, so that what I can do if somebody else happens to sign up before you and they take your first date, I'll give you your second. But again, I'm flexible here. The earlier you sign up, the more flexibility I have with that. Okay. So this is what I was talking about. Now, if you're going, you can either come in on Zoom or you can come in on person. Or if you want to come into my office, that's great as well. If you're coming in on Zoom, make sure you know how to screen share. On Mac, you actually have to do an additional step, so make sure you know how to do that. If you're coming in on person and you want to bring your laptop, great. Just make sure you can connect to the campus Wi-Fi. And if you are coming in on campus but don't have a laptop, no problem. Just let me know, and then I will arrange a time for us in the lab. Okay. I post these questions because I've had them. Is it optional? And the answer is it depends on your grade. Because it accounts for 25% of your overall grade, you can figure out what this does to your grade. In Canvas, there's this great thing that is actually the ability to update and do the what if scenario in your grade. If you don't know how to do that, let me know. Maybe I'll cover it in week 9 just so that you know about that. So what will be covered? Well, it depends on which option you take. If you take the full one, then, right, the code and concepts covered so far, the best way to prepare is to be able to write some basic code. Okay, and I talked about that actually up in here. Some of the things variables, array functions, arrays, objects, loops, and DOM updates. That's generally what the actual code challenge will cover if you're doing a code challenge interview. Actually, I should change the wording here because I call it a code challenge or a partial. So if you're doing a partial, make sure you know how to walk me through using DevTools, right? And by the way, if you're using another browser, just make sure you know how to walk through code on that one. Okay. And this is another question I get, even though I've covered it, which is totally okay, is if I don't do well, can I attempt it again? And the absolute answer is yeah. The key is knowing the dates when that happened. So I definitely recommend students sign up earlier the better, get through and have the experience. And if they need to, come back and do a second one. Okay, I hope this helps you understand the process. So your job now is to submit those 2 dates that you would want. Tell me, are you doing the walkthrough or the challenge? Tell me if you're going to come on campus or if you're going to do Zoom. And then if my office hours don't work, give me dates that I will do my best to work with you on. All right, talk to you later.